Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assorted members of the jury, tables and chairs, distinguished guests, I bring you a game of Age mythology retold. At the moment, we have in the top of the map, playing as Nuwa, everyone's favorite god right now. The popularity is off the charts for this god. Everyone, or goddess, I should say, she is absolutely cracked in terms of just things you can do. Now, just because you can do a lot of stuff, does that mean it's good? Does that mean it's bad? I mean, you be the judge of that one. I'm having fun playing Nuwa. I'm also having fun playing a whole bunch of other stuff, as we already see Rappel doing something that I think is absolutely insane. He drops down the creation really, really early here. To get himself 2 extra clay peasants. He's obviously going for a really fast advance time at the moment. He's playing up against Kronos as Suppe here. He's already the GOAT of China. He already knows how to play China, so he doesn't want to give anyone else away all of his big brain strategies. There is an S-tier tournament coming up around the horizon, so I imagine that these top players, they've got some ideas that maybe they don't want to share all too much, but I will throw out there that creation is a god power that improves insanely as the game goes on. Let's just take a quick look at it. Archaic Age, 2. Classical Age, 4. Heroic Age, 10. Mythic Age, 25. That's a lot of extra villages for 2 minutes. Now, you don't have to throw them down onto the resources either. They also go anywhere on the map. So you can do things like say, oh, I'm getting gold starved. Oh dear, let me just drop my clay peasants on a gold mine and I get 2 minutes of extra gold gather rate. When I hit the heroic age, I get 10 villages for 2 minutes gold gathering. That's the difference between me winning and losing a game some of the time. But nonetheless, we will be seeing the hero Kwafu coming out for Rappel. He's going up through hull 2 here. And Suppe, he is taking the long road to the classical age. Love to see that. I don't think there's any sort of reason to rush China, especially the Chinese gods that have access to hull 2 with the earthen wall. You're going to have some trouble dealing with that unless you've got a solid plan to actually kill it off. For example, China, if playing against the Great Wall, they can use Dao Swordsman as a really nice way to kind of kill that off nice and fast. As the Great Wall is building, if you have enough of them, you can just kill it off as it's building and be like completely fine. So yeah, you can often catch your opponents off guard. Especially there's going to be this like Chinese meta that evolves around a fast second town center. So rushing your opponent with a huge amount of Dao Swordsmen nice and fast might find yourself some nice early victories. You never know. But we'll see. As second age is now in for the Rappel. Doesn't look like he's going for a town center, though he's got a lot of villages on wood and gold, so maybe he is, as the temple for Suppe. Hello? Suppe says, I want the temple at home. He wants the temple at home. He's going to spawn those Prometheans out here. Wait, did he? Yes, he does. I think that might have been a mistake. I think he wanted the Promethean offsprings to spawn on the front to harass the Rappel while the heroes were over here. But he brought them back by mistake here. So he's going to have to leave them as we see some Terma coming in. Terma are your best bet against these early pioneers. I think this is going to be your stock standard opening against any sort of early pressure from a Chinese player. So just getting out a couple of Terma makes a lot of sense. The other option is you kind of can just drop a town center with Kronos, specifically with Prometheus. Against China. These pioneers, they might seem like they do something, but they're only doing 5.1 PS damage per second. So 15 PS damage per second against your villagers building the town center. You can wall your villagers in with 2 houses and a temple using the time shift mechanic. And as the villager gets close to dying, you can use the Valor God power there to heal them back up to full. So there is realistically no way for a Chinese player to actually stop you getting that town center. I think. Maybe with the Hero Fu rushing. Because this thing does, look, I mean, this thing does pack a punch. This thing is kind of insane. It does 16.5 pierce damage per second. But you can dodge the rock. So I don't know. I'm still trying to learn myself. There's lots to go into this sort of thing. Anyways, we haven't talked about this yet. Relics on the map. Arrows of Heracles. There have been some new relics introduced into Age of Mythology Retold here. Fur of Boit. This one is one of them. This one's going to make those heroes regenerate at 0.25 HP per second. That's really, really nice. Over on this side, we've got the Kopesh of Horus, going to be boosting damage against myth units. And up on the top, we've got Svadilfari's Sledge here, making the fortress free of favor. So some very, very nice relics there. Meanwhile, just a little bit of raids up onto this spot. Does manage to pick off a villager there. Nice find for Suppe, as the Promethean offspring is going to be running over onto this side. Those hero pioneers on the chase, but we are now seeing one weakness of the well, all of them die there, but one weakness of the Chinese heroes, where they do have a lot of power behind them. They're very, very slow, 4.3 speed, so they can't really chase anything around. So you have to position them in the right spots to defend against those raids, as we do see some walls coming up here for the Rapple. Not really using his auto build to the fullest of potential here. If you want to make this really easy, you can kind of throw up your temple kind of on one side here, then use the favored land to wall that in and wall across, and you can kind of get your walls up without even needing to use any villages. It's kind of a lot of detail, I would say, in building placement to get the most value out of that auto build mechanic. It's very, very challenging, but there's definitely something there. But Suppe at the moment looks like he's going for a fast heroic here. His armory is up. He's got the food in the bank. He's got the gold over here. This is something that I theory crafted pretty early on for Atlantean versus Chinese. You know, the heroic age gets access to chaos, which is really, really good. We might actually see Suppe going for Rhea here. I know that he's a fan of new things, and Rhea, there we go. Rhea is really, really interesting now. Very much reworked. Has a lot more excitement in it than it used to, as the heroes and the Javelineers coming through. You're going to get access to Horns of Consecration now, which unlocks Fanatics, and Orichalcum Mail, which no longer boosts the archers, the Arcus and the Terma, but instead boosts your Murmillo and your Fanatics. So it's a really, really big technology there to grab. As we see military barracks coming up for Suppe, he's getting 2 of those, 3 of those, and we'll see how he's going to go with this. He doesn't really need to go into Fanatics either. Just the sheer fact that he gets Orichalcum Mail can be really, really nice for his Murmillo. But the one thing that he does miss out on is Chaos, and he does also miss out on those Satyr, which are also very good, as the Temple has been moved up onto this spot as well. One of the awesome things about playing as Kronos, you get 2 myth units that spawn. So that also applies to your heroic age myth units, obviously. So it's going to get 2 behemoths to just charge into the main base of Rapple. And Rapple thinks he's very, very safe here, as... Wait. We do... Oh! The Traitor onto the Guaofu is in. The Guaofu is in. He stole it. So that's 3 villages that are gone. That's 3 pop out the window. He's trying to pull it back, but it is down and it is out, and that is hilarious. That is so good. Suppe, I mean, I give him the credit for creative plays. I say he's got the biggest brain in Age Mythology, because honestly, he does these plays so ridiculously often. Like, he's so good at it. I'm such a fan. So that's so much damage already just from one God Power. And he's going to be able to use this on repeat. 15 favor next. I can't imagine that this is going to last for that long. Does this affect citizens as well. Can you use this on citizens? I think you can. Is this just as good on, like, maybe can you use it on a hero citizen? Probably not a hero citizen, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this this gets nerfed. This is really, really strong. Imagine a god power like Locust, right? But it only kills off 3 villages. But you can use it over and over and over and over and over again. Super's brain is too big for the average everyday folks here. Okay. Behemoths, they're still waiting on this. I love that Soup's done this. He's literally just hiding these bad boys. And he's going to be able to use these to charge forward while he's distracting Rapple. The plan is huge. As the Tao Wu coming in. There are still only 2 heroes here. Now, Soup does have access to some Valors if he wants to heroize his own units. But hasn't dropped any of them down as the Chongqing just decides, nah, I don't want to drop there. Does pick off a Sage over there. Important to be taking that one out. Great control. As Soup says, all right, time to just retreat ever so slightly. There's the Tao Wu. You have to micro this Tao Wu individually. You can't right-click with it onto an enemy unit. The idea is you use the special, and I would actually turn it off of, just with a lot of different abilities, to be honest. I would turn this off, autocast, and manually queue it when I'm ready to control it, and then I just run through my opponent's army and just knock things apart. It's a lot of fun to use. As the Clontarius can be charging forward. Rapple going to pull behind his walls. He still has his Earth Wall to use. So that can still keep him nice and protected. But Soup at this point says, time for another town center. I just love these guys. They're just sitting up here just going, do, 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 do. Nothing to see here. We're just having a party. Two dinosaurs and a party. It's just, oh, nothing's happening. Look at these bad boys. You can't tell me that you're not excited to be a behemoth here. It's the small things in life. Now, Soup slowly but surely getting up to full population. One thing that I have heard a lot of people saying is that the Chinese army feels maybe a little bit underwhelming. At the very least, the classical age army feels a little underwhelming. The fire archers, the Wuzu Javelinier, the halberdiers. I think the Dao swordsmen are pretty strong. I think that once you get to the heroic age, you start unlocking those really strong units like the Chuko Nu, the White Horse Cavalry. Those units are really powerful. The Tiger Cavalry and the Mythic age obviously is insanely strong. But in this situation here, those Chuko Nu, they don't really do anything. They're counter infantry units. There's no infantry units in this army. So we'll see if Rapple can deal with this. He does have those Wuzu Javelin in to try and take out the Arcus. Great control for the moment, but as this is happening, a certain somebody with a certain Behemoth or 2 charging in. We see Forest Protection getting dropped on this position as well, as it looks like Rapple, he is sort of winning this fight for the moment, but he is losing the town center, not paying attention at all. The stealth behemoths have paid for themselves as they manage to get in and take out the town center. Rapple does notice it, but too little, too late, as the behemoths can move away, now start taking out houses and the like. But Soup loses all of his units here. He does not manage to win that fight. So killing off a town center, great. Losing an army, not so good. He's also got 121 favor in the bank. And what do you use with that? As the town center shoots up insanely fast. And Soup, I mean, he can take it back down again. We do see the hero Kualfu in, getting some serious damage on those behemoths done here. But this is allowing Soup the time to rebuild his army. And we'll see what he can make happen here, as the hero Kualfu also trying to get walls up. This is the only thing you can really build with a enemy villager as well, right? You can't build any special buildings. I don't even think you can build like military buildings with them because they don't have those in their buildable buildings. They've only got farms, houses, walls, armory, market, maybe the fortress. I don't think so. I don't think you can even get a castle up with them. You can get a town center, maybe a village center on the back as an idea. Just like steal a Qualfu, throw up a village center, get some actual citizens out, and then actually build some stuff. Then again, you're playing as Kronos, so why not just time shift stuff back there if you're going to be doing that? Or you can build towers as well, that's true. And now Rappel says it's time to drop some town centers. He's getting the settlement in the middle, getting the settlement on the left-hand corner over here as well. And Rappel is now going to have to deal with Atlas. Atlas is coming through, means implode. We're also seeing the Horns of Consecration, which enables the Fnatic and makes them train faster as well. Also, Orichalcum Male going to be coming in. Does manage to snipe one Qual through there as well. This is going to be retreating away, but it's going to be 4 town centers to 2 town centers for the moment here. We'll see if that's going to be enough or not as advanced defenses is coming through and the earth wall gets dropped down. Oh, it's 4 to 3 town centers. Excuse me. I am very, very silly. I can't look. I might meme about my math being really bad, but it is really bad. It really is. I did great in school, but no, that's because we were doing things like calculating the circumference of a circle if there is no weight in space, and you know the speed of light is a thing as well. You know, all these things that don't matter. I didn't learn any of the stuff that matters. Oh dear. Okay, as the heavy Clontarr is coming, I've got a question in the chat from Kronos. Isn't China super weak to Murmilla? I don't think that they are super weak to Murmilla. They've got the Chukonu, which is really, really strong against infantry units. It's really, really strong. Like, if you imagine a Toxote versus a Hoplite, right? The Hoplite beats the Toxote in a 1v1 in the editor, right? The Chukonu wins. So it's actually a really good counter infantry unit. So yeah, keep that in the back of your mind. But Mythic Ages now coming in as well. Got Gong Gong as well on the way here as the implode does get dropped down onto this position as all these villagers getting sucked in. The units getting sucked in as well. The Ballet going to take a huge amount of damage here as well. As all those units getting taken out. We've got the Devotees of Atlas. We've got the Titan Shield. Thank you for the Prime, Kronos. Appreciate you, my friend. As the deconstruction decides to go on the ballet there just to control this position for the time being. But the game is very much in the balance. Sorry, Kronos. Okay, so Imperial Academy are going to go down over here. Now, the big thing about Noir and where I think the strength comes in the Mythic Age is from this unit right here. Li Jing, 500 resources and 8 favor. So not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, much more expensive than those Greek Mythic Age heroes. But they pack insane power. Great Flood coming in, going to be carrying those units across here. Huge damage onto all of the villages as well as they're getting carried to oblivion here. As they're all going to have to move back onto their resource. A couple of buildings falling. Population dropping very heavily for Soup in that spot. Both players, honestly, in this game taking huge losses from that Mythic Age God power as, there we go, Li Jing now in the queue. This guy has got a special ability which stuns an army in an area. An army. Everything in the area gets stunned for 5 seconds. 5 seconds of stun. That's a lot. Now Super's getting himself out a huge amount of champion destroyers. This is an interesting one. Does Grapple have the upgrade? No. There is an upgrade which makes the Chuko Nu probably deal with the champion destroyers. But without that upgrade, there's not really a counter unit to beat this inside of the Chinese arsenal. They need to use the white actually there is. You have to use the Tiger Cavalry to beat this guy. As Rappel getting pushed back. Where's the big hero, dude? He's over here. Now coming in. Li Jing is on the way. These are rear destroyers. Wow, they've got even more. Wow, they're so strong. 15% extra hack armor as well. So not only they got huge pierce armor, also huge hack armor. As they're charging forward. And Rappel's going to be scratching his head. What does he do? He's got Last Stand. He's got the really powerful late game cavalry. The game is still in the balance here. He's got one ballet. Only one. Oh, he's got two, excuse me. So that might be enough to pump out the Tiger Cavalry he needs, but he's not building them at the moment. He does have himself heavy upgrades for them, but it's just not enough here. Let me have a quick look. Does he have the upgrade? No, there's no upgrade for the Chuko Nu. He didn't go the right god here. I'll show you that upgrade after the game's over. There's some guard towers coming up. Soup is time shifting these in, pushing forward, spending every little ounce of resource to try and find full advantage here. All of the destroyers now have been taken out. Both players' economy is in such a weird place right now. What Rappel, I think, needs to do is he's got to spend all of those villagers on wood. He's got 24 and 4.5k wood in the bank. He's got to spend all of that on farms so he can get a huge food income and all of the cloud food onto gold, right? That way, he can spam out these cavalry units here. Look at them. Heavy Tiger Cavalry has bonus versus infantry, has bonus versus archers. The only real unit which Soup can build to beat that is going to be catapulties. And even then, he's going to also have to need archers in to deal with the unit that falls from that. But he's definitely going to need to build catapulties, and Soup at the moment, he's only got one counter barracks. So it's a very challenging thing. Actually, maybe the Fanatics might be okay versus them. I'm not 100% sure. And now Suppe is spamming towers. He's got the Qualfu. I just love that he's just continuously stealing Qualfu here. And the towers build really, really fast with this bad boy as well. There's more units to come forward. Soup could use the Fire Slash to clean up these walls if he wants to. But he's focused on trying to grab this town center and pushing it into the main base. We've already covered it, but these Chuko Nu, I would say they're not the best against archers. I could be wrong about this. Maybe they are. I have to do some probably editor tests to see. But my gut feeling is these don't do very well against anything but infantry. And in that moment there, Rappel does decide to tap out as Soup, seemingly stumping him in this game. I think he went the right god path here to get himself the powerful heavy Tiger Cavalry and deal with Rhea. But he needed to get those castles up, and he needed to get the income to build them. That's the hard part. The income is really, really tough to find. You need to have like 50, 60 villages on food. It costs... Hang on. It costs how much food? 115 food per heavy Tiger Cavalry, and there's 3 populations. So it's very, very pricey. There's not really many units that cost that much food. Maybe the elephant of the Egyptians comes to mind, right? But nonetheless, let me show you this technology that I think might allow the Chuko Nu to function against destroyers and Huskal and anything with high PS armor that's an infantry unit. It is not that one. No, it is that one. It is that one. It's right here. Scorching Feathers. Now, Noir doesn't have access to it. But if you are playing China and you want it, then Scorching Feathers here makes the units lose some pierce armor. So it will allow them to kind of break through it a little bit. Now, I'm not sure exactly how much it can stack up to. Is there a thing on this? It lasts for 5 seconds. Modifies damage vulnerabilities of plus 1%, lasts 5 seconds. Is there a thing that is there a limit on this? Because if there's not, then the thing that's cool about it is that the Chukonu shoots 4 arrows. So it applies that stack 4 times in 2.8 seconds, which is a lot. So we'll have to do some tests, but that's my current theory on that. But I mean, if you don't have access to that, then you do have the Dow Swordsman, and you do also have the Tiger Cavalry, which I think are really, really good against those. So it's not like there's not a way through against these units, but as Suppe, as he always does, he finds something that seems really, really powerful, and he manages to take out the Noir Menace here in this game. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow. And if you're on the YouTubes, definitely hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.